A mechanic tried to rip my sister off and I took that personally. After helping her not pay $2,000 for spark plugs, I started setting traps for mechanics in my town to identify honest shops for people to send their sisters to. These are the shops that failed, embarrassingly. After months of preparation, getting my old Honda as close to perfect as possible, I took it into this northeast Atlanta chain mechanic. We're going to be paying attention to this cog on the scam machine. He brings the car in and starts the inspection. Unfortunately, he finds an actual problem with the car. The alternator belt has started to crack. Because I took so long preparing the car and continue to use this car as my daily driver, the belt that was fine a couple of months ago did wear out before visiting this shop, and this is an actual legit recommendation for replacement. So, half of their first line item is legit. However, this is where the honesty ends. Where they go off the rails is in the recommendation to also replace the power steering belt. I call this the "since we're in there" scam. They would say, since we're in there, we might as well replace the power steering belt to save you labor, which many times is legit depending on what the repair is, but for this repair is a lie. The power steering belt on this 2005 Honda Civic is separate from the alternator belt and is at the top of the engine bay, requiring 2 bolts to change. Even for an amateur, this is a 1-minute job. You do have to remove it to access the alternator belt though. We can deduce, since they charged me $155 as a 1-hour diag fee, that $155 is also their hourly rate. Belts are less than $20 each, so the $362 they tried to charge me to replace both belts charged an hour for each belt, even though one of the belts is literally a 1-minute job. Which means they are already trying to steal $155 in labor. Not a good start, boys. $155 is chump change. For the finale, they recommend rear struts, a classic go-to for scammers. They did no bounce test or test drive. They did do a visual check, however. I call this the plausible deniability scam. The rear struts on my Honda were certainly not new and were showing early signs of wear, but every part on a second-hand car, by definition, shows signs of wear as soon as it's used.
Early signs of wear alone is not a legitimate indicator that parts need to be replaced.
Regardless, this shop latched on to the signs of wear and made a $914 recommendation for a completely unneeded repair. How many mechanics does it take to scam a customer? The answer is somehow 3.
Oh, I guess they didn't like my joke.
At least the shop floor is clean, so you can be OSHA compliant while you scam. If I went ahead with this and then reported this scam to the cops, the shop could just show the wear and easily get away from prosecution, since most officers know as much about cars as the average person. Very little. This is why scam shops can get away with ripping people off and will continue to get away with it, because the best scammers are scamming at a professional level. It's very difficult for authorities to prove anything. To catch these guys, you need good mechanics investigating dodgy mechanics. The regular authorities have no chance. I also asked them to identify an intermittent sound. They charged a $155 diag fee, but came back with nothing. So their win points back here, since the diag fee is justified for what I asked them to do, even though they found nothing, and they had an opportunity to make up some nonsense and charge me for it, which they didn't take. It seems this shop is disciplined with how they scam in case they do get caught, which makes them pretty much impossible to prosecute. But even though they tried to scam me for $1,100, they're not the worst on this list. Not long after, I find myself testing this wolf in sheep's clothing, a 2-lift mum and pop shop. Even though it's small, a business this size will collect hundreds of thousands of dollars a year and can devastate the local community. To test this shop, I use one of my favorite testing methods. I remove the power steering belt, tell them my power steering isn't working, and ask for a quote. The owner immediately replies, "It's probably the rack," without even knowing what car I'm referring to. Right off the bat, multiple red flags. There are 3 main reasons why power steering wouldn't work, and different causes within those reasons. First red flag, you need to know what I'm driving before you give your prediction. Second, you predict the most expensive repair. Interesting. Third, you're going to need to look at the steering system before telling me what it probably is. He's already trying to condition me to expect a big bill as I barely walked through the door. I told him it's only worth $2,000, and if it's any more than $600, I'll just get a new car. This is music to his ears as he's trying to run the squeeze scam. He's trying to squeeze every last cent he can out of me, and I saved him having to try to figure out what that amount's going to be by telling him how much I'm willing to spend. To seal the deal, the owner tries to manipulate me, saying it's dangerous to drive around like that. Interesting, for decades, no cars had power steering. But no, I'm sure you're looking out for my best interest. They're full and can't see me, so I reschedule a week later. When I return, the lady at the desk asked me to write out my details again. Not a red flag, just slightly annoying. The owner's not there, and the mechanic says that it might be a simple solution, which is promising, and now I'm worried that the owner might have intended on ripping me off, but his mechanic might be honest. This happens sometimes in shops. I don't want to promote a shop that rips off people when the owner's there, but is honest when he's not. The mechanic finds the missing belt, but that's where his diagnosis ends, and he issues the quote. According to this shop, my Honda needs a new pump with accompanying belt and flush for $639, or 6% above the max I said I was willing to pay. The squeeze scam. Now, I can already hear the angry typing of you wannabe mechanics out there saying, belts don't just come off, he made a good recommendation. To which I say, are belts indestructible? Now, I'll acknowledge that I'm not a mechanic, but this guy is.
Can a power steering belt come off due to age?
Yeah, due to age, it will pop open because they dry rot as rubber after a while. If you have say you have the idler pulley or another pulley that's wobbling, or the pulley go bad, it'll cause the pump to jump out. Cause the belt.
Interference, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Something else could cause it that has nothing to do with the pump.
This owner is one of the most blatant scammers I've come across. He's comfortable, confident, and brazen doing what he does. What a low-life sociopathic scumbag who probably scams his family and friends. I found out later that one of my trusted mechanics has been recommending this guy. I let them know my findings. If the owner of the shop is watching, I hope you go out of business. I'm telling everyone I know not to use you. But even if this guy thought I was willing and able to pay for the rack, and he charged me for it, he still wouldn't have the #1 spot. So he even loses at being a loser. On the topic of telling everybody, you might be wondering why I'm not showing the bad shops' names and addresses. My primary objective is to find good mechanics for my community. Secondary objective is to inform people how the scams work. I have no intention of calling out potentially dangerous criminals and putting me and my family in danger. Until I actually pay them to do the quoted work, they haven't broken the law yet. If you are an Atlanta viewer, on screen is a list of trusted mechanics. You can find that on my community page and in my Patreon for free. If you use these mechanics, which cover most of Atlanta, you'll naturally avoid these bad mechanics that I've found. This next shop ripped off one of my subscribers, and since they're on this list, obviously attempted to rip me off. I'm in a different vehicle. This test was done in a Prius. The shop has an almost perfect 4.8 star rating. A textbook example of why ratings are useless at determining honesty. Ratings are left by non-mechanics, guessing if the mechanic is honest for other non-mechanics. Kind of absurd when you think about it. The best way to find a good mechanic is to set up an honesty test. Check out my shorts for ideas. I arrive, advise them that I've just brought the car, and ask for an inspection. I immediately see why they have such high ratings. The owner says, if we find anything, I'll take you back to show you, which is an excellent gesture a shop can make for its customers to be transparent. They're risking a customer getting injured, and I don't believe this is OSHA compliant. Shops that do this believe the transparency outweighs any potential customer personal injury risk. But just because a shop does this doesn't guarantee honesty, which the owner proves to me when he hands me his recommendations. He quotes for a brake flush. This is another scammer trick. They'll show you low brake fluid and say that you need a brake flush, when in actual fact your brake fluid will naturally go down as your brake pads wear out. So if your mechanic offers you a brake flush and references the low brake fluid, politely decline and find another mechanic. But this guy must have read Scamming for Dummies, because he makes the most basic scam attempt recommending struts. But he levels up when he tells me front and rear need replacement. You rascal. This is another example of the plausible deniability scam. This Prius has 59,000 miles on it. There's no official maintenance interval to replace struts according to Toyota. It is, however, common practice to check struts at 50,000 miles. Struts can last twice that. The important detail here is that there's a big difference between checking and changing at 50,000 miles. These 6 shops checked the struts, including 2 of my trusted mechanics, and 4 other shops that did the exact same test as this shop. None of them recommended struts. If I reported these guys, this shop would educate authorities that it's common to check struts at 50,000 miles, which is true, and they'll be able to weasel their way out of accountability, because how would a regular cop know the difference between check at 50,000 miles and change at 50,000 miles? But now you know. You can find free digital versions of your maintenance schedule online. He proceeds to recommend 2 sway bar links and an alignment. There it is. I wouldn't take my car there. And with that $1,700 scam attempt, we have a new #1. Will this hold? Spoiler alert, no it won't. I'm here in the car park of Target where I'm staging a breakdown. I'm about to discover the shop that has agreed to see me is different to all the other shops, and this test has an outcome I don't see coming. It earns a channel first and puts me and the tow truck driver in an awkward position. At the time, I need coverage southwest of the perimeter. I'm excited to run my favorite test that I think has the highest chance of catching big scams. I disconnect my clutch switch and call a tow truck to tow my beautiful Lexus IS300 in. The reason why this has the highest chance of catching a big scam is because from the perspective of the mechanic, I am a customer who can't drive away, so I'm forced to use his services. A non-starting car can be caused by a large number of reasons, from very small, like in this case plugging a clutch switch back in, to very big, and more importantly for the scam shop, very expensive problems. Because the car is towed here, in his mind there is a 0% chance I'll be able to get a second opinion, and a 0% chance I can drive off if I don't like the quote. Any scammer in this situation has won the scam lottery. He can charge a huge bill and I won't have any options other than to pay what he comes up with. I call the tow truck driver, we arrive to the shop, I go into the office to ask where they want it, and here's where it all goes sideways. I get sketched out because 1. I was about an hour away from home if I needed help. 2. This is a rough part of town. 3. The lot had car sales and the mechanic out of the same building. I've never seen that before, and it was small, so both businesses were squashed in there. 4. There were cars that looked like they'd been there since the beginning of time. 5. There were 3 cars on lifts, 0 mechanics working on them. 6. There was no greeting from the front desk. 7. Our conversation went like this. I have a car on the tow truck. Where do you want it? Who's that for? Which I thought was a ridiculous question. You, it won't start. I called earlier. I was told to bring it in. There was a guy on the chair behind the front desk guy, and he confirmed, yeah. What is it? A Lexus IS300. Put it beside the Mercedes. I told the tow truck driver, and he went inside to speak to the front desk. I can't get the car on that spot, he said. Just come through the front gate and reverse it in. I'm a pickup with a trailer. There's not enough room for me to get in there. One of the customers that was waiting suggested he can loop around the shop to get to the front gate. To which the front desk guy said, yeah, this would stop us having to make a left turn on the busy road, but unfortunately, getting through the front wasn't the problem. It was not having room to maneuver once inside. The staff didn't seem to care or offer any way to solve the problem. I didn't want me or the tow truck driver to have to organize customers and staff to help push the vehicle. I was already apprehensive about leaving my car here just from the vibe of the place, but their attitude towards me and the driver made me think that even if they were honest, I wouldn't want to recommend them anyway. But why did I have to give away my identity? I decided not to go ahead with the honesty test. I told the driver to just unload, but he didn't want to leave me stranded. I had to spill the beans about what I was actually trying to do. I don't think he fully understood what I meant, and he emphasized that he didn't want to leave me stranded. It took a couple of explanations and showing him my car starting for him to be okay unloading. I got my car back and we parted ways. Props to the tow truck driver, and I literally wouldn't take my car there.
Okay, so technically they tried to steal $0 from me, but that's still terrible and they deserve to be on this list. It's my list.
Which leaves just one space on the worst 5 list. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the worst shop I've ever tested. I'm in Roswell, I'm in an Infinity, I'm looking scammable. It's worth mentioning that the 4 other shops that did this exact test found the oil drain plug, and they all just tightened it and sent me on my way for free or the cost of a diag, proving that not all shops are dodgy. In fact, this poor excuse for a business is one of the few shops that have ripped me off since starting this channel. Before I arrive, I loosen the oil drain plug and spill oil on the splash shield. At the front desk, the general manager greets me. I inform him that I have an oil leak and that it happened after I visited a quick oil. In theory, this would lead his mechanic to first check either the oil drain plug or the oil filter. He should find the loose drain plug, tighten it, and send me on my way. The general manager advises that they will check it over, and if they're not sure, they'll do a dye test to guarantee they have found the exact source of the leak. Sounds amazing so far, and I'm thinking up the nice things I'm going to say about this shop for my video. They're busy, so I lift home. The mechanics now have possession of my wife's car. They proceed to throw bolts over it and spin the wheels. In the dry. Yeah, man! On thin ice, boys. And now I am, because I need to report this to my wife. She's angry. But hey, so long as you're all having a good time. They clean the engine and things take even more of a turn. The first mechanic asked for a second opinion. I respect that. He's man enough to admit he wasn't sure and he doesn't want to make a mistake. The second mechanic comes by and says,
What is it? all leaking. The upper oil. Valve covers are leaking, a couple O-rings, and the rack. And that fresh oil that was down there, somebody had spilled oil.
What he said here makes things interesting. The mechanic sounds genuinely concerned that what he has found will cost the customer a lot of money. This is not a scammer. He believes the things that he recommended. Before this test, the car was diagnosed by 4 other mechanics undergoing the exact same test, including Infinity of South Atlanta. None found any leak other than the one I created. After the test, I get 2 of my trusted mechanics to double and then triple check the shop's findings. Rod v Rod said there's a leak from the left valve cover gasket, but only the valve cover gasket and nowhere else. Mechanic X, who wishes to remain anonymous, says what they saw is a seep, not a leak, and nothing is leaking. To give the tested shop the benefit of the doubt, let's assume that the car actually did need valve cover gaskets. Mechanic X adds, there's no way to determine if the upper oil pan is leaking without first solving any other potential oil leaks. All this to say, the first part of what makes this mechanic the worst in Atlanta is a very expensive but genuine misdiagnosis.
$6,400 at worst, $5,000 at best.
Mistakes aren't great, but they are forgivable. However, the egregious part is that they missed the finger-tight oil drain plug, which, because I told the shop that I'd been to a quick oil, should have been the first thing they checked. If this was real, within days or at most months, this will become a serious problem. I'll let Glover's mechanic explain.
Oil plug is loose.
So how much driving would that have taken for it to come out?
Well, I don't know. It all depends on the driving, the vibrations, anything. Over time, it'll just come out, and then you would know when your engine quit running.
Right.
After the mechanic finishes his diagnosis, the general manager calls me, and to his credit, he gives me an order of importance to do the repairs in case I can't afford to pay them fully today. He only mentions the oil leaks and ignores the other recommendations, which we'll get to in a moment. This is actually really good customer service, since he might be trusting the mechanic's findings just like a regular customer has to. He's not the one checking the car out, so he might be just reporting back what he was told. He also calls me after I leave the shop when I accidentally leave my $7 worth of change. I'm not sure whether to blame this guy, the owner, or the company policies for what comes next. I arrive back in the shop. I'm shocked when literal pages of recommendations are handed to me. Many not relating to oil leaks, many not mentioned on the phone. This shop, like many scam shops, went over the rest of the car with a fine-tooth comb. They went over areas that had nothing to do with an oil leak. Not all shops that do unasked for inspections like this are scamming, but it's an automatic red flag for me. I personally hate it when shops do this. I just want my oil leak fixed. For me, it's intrusive and pushy. If they happen to notice a legit safety concern close to where they're looking for the oil leak, that's different. But that's not the case here. Just like the earlier mechanics, this shop recommends replacing anything with wear. But the most egregious recommendations are found under the requires immediate repair heading. Meaning, if I don't fix them today, I'm putting me or the car in danger. Under this heading, they recommend hood struts, TPMS, struts, steering rack, engine air filters, and antifreeze. Wow guys, according to you, the car is a death trap. I better get on that stat. Just curious, hood struts. This car has gone 5 years without the hood staying open on its own. The tire pressure monitoring system, TPMS, tells me how much air is in my tires, and once again the car has gone without the sensors working for half a decade. By requires immediate attention, is that before or after a decade? Whoever set up the quote system here is knowingly deceiving customers. What a piece of shit. This Roswell chain has well and truly earned the title of worst mechanic in Atlanta. This shop actually found my short when I made it. Check my community post for the comment exchange I had with a friend of the owner. Moral of the story, it's not accurate to assume that if a shop is actually scamming, that it's the mechanic's fault. It could be the mechanic's fault, however, it also could be, and is more likely to be, the service advisor, upper management, the owner, a company policy.